I wanted to come on here today to talk to everybody because of what's going on with the government and Congress, and I'm talking to a bunch of people who seem confused about what's happening. So I wanted to just come here and explain to people what I've been told, what I know that's happening right now with the CARE Act. So March 27th, Congress passed and President signed that the Corona Aid Relief and Economic Security Act. So what does that mean? Okay, so it's the Paycheck Protection Program. So anybody that's a small business, anybody that is an independent contractor, the government's coming and helping out. They've authorized up to $349 billion in forgivable loans to small businesses right now. So the idea is that it is to pay for your employees so that you can take care of your own. You don't have to let people go during this tough time for about 2 months. So that part's cool. And so I want to give you guys a little bit of information. Anybody that isn't sure what's happening, because today's the first day where it started. And I'm going to preface here that everything I'm telling you is from what I've been told by my accountants, who I've spoken with. But I advise that you go and speak to your own accountants. You go to speak to your lawyers, whomever. This is not any legal or accounting advice. So this is just merely me explaining to you how I understand what's going on. And I want to pass it along to all you guys to tell you what the opportunities are, because I just did it. Okay, so it's called the PPP. It's the Paycheck Protection Program. Like I said, they're authorizing up to $349 billion in forgivable loans to small businesses to pay their employees during the COVID-19 crisis. And all of these terms for everybody will be the same. So here's some details on it. And I'm going to show you the loan amounts and how they're forgiven. Okay, so they're forgiven. The loan proceeds are used to cover payroll costs. And if there's any mortgage interest, rent, utility costs over an 8-week period after the loan is made. So they're giving you up to 2.5 times whatever your payroll costs are. So it's employee and compensation levels. Payroll costs are capped at $100,000 for every employee. So if someone makes $200,000, you can only allocate $100,000 to them. Obviously, if they only make $50,000, then you can't bump it up. It's got to be 50, but up to $100,000 per employee. So what else? Loan payments will be deferred for 6 months. When can you apply? So it starts today. Today, the small businesses and sole proprietorships can apply to receive the loans. I did it through Chase. So you can go to any existing SBA lender. Right now is where you can go. The way it worked was I went on. The link was not working at first because there's so many people doing it at once. But I went on and I just filled out some information. I didn't fill out as much as I thought because I saw the app on treasury.gov, and what it said was Chase representative will be getting in touch with me to go over my application to get this thing going. So who knows when that's going to happen. There's so many people doing it, but for all you guys out there that are a little confused, you should definitely check it out. Right. So today is the first day that it started. Starting on April 10th, independent contractors and self-employed individuals can apply as well to receive loans to cover their payroll and other expenses through existing SBA lenders. Now, there'll also be other regulated lenders as soon as they are approved and enrolled in the program. So you just got to go and find which ones are approved. Like I said, I did it through Chase. I bank at Chase. So there's a list online. You can go check it out. So, so you can apply ultimately any existing SBA lenders. You can Google existing SBA lenders through any federal insured depository institution, federally insured credit union, and farm credit system institution that is participating. Okay. So questions like who can apply? So all businesses can apply with 500 or fewer employees. So that includes nonprofits, veterans organizations, tribal business concerns, sole proprietorships, self-employed individuals, and independent contractors. Businesses in certain industries that have more than 500 employees, if they meet applicable SBA employee base size standards for those industries, could have some exceptions. So in the hotel and food services industries, right? So you can see why they would do that. The franchises in the SBA's franchise directory. And if someone receives financial assistance from small business investment companies licensed by the SBA. So other than that, it's pretty much 500 employees or less, and you can apply. So what do you got to do to apply? You complete the Paycheck Protection Program loan application. So you can find that on home.treasury.gov, and you'll be able to find the application. And you submit the application to the lender, to the approved lender. So like I said, I went on Chase. I filled out my application with Chase. Now a Chase representative is going to get in touch with me to get me to now fill out this app, and I'm going to have to show them documentation so that we can get the ball moving. So the documents I'm going to have to provide are going to be like the payroll documentation to show proof on what I'm submitting, right? Another question, do I need to first look for other funds before applying to this program? No, you do not. You do not have to look for that. How long will this program last? This opened today, and it's opened until June 30th, 2020. However, you want to apply for this as quickly as possible because there is a funding cap. So that means that when they actually lend the allocated amount of money, there'll be nothing left. So you want to do it ASAP. And plus, lenders are going to need time to process the loan for you. How many loans can you take out under the program? You can only take out one. What can the loans be used for? So the way that you get these loans forgiven is as follows. You should use the proceeds for these loans on your payroll costs, including benefits. You can use them for interest on mortgage obligations. Everything has to be incurred before February 15, 2020. Rent under lease agreements in force before February 15th, and utilities for which services began before February 15, 2020. So another question was, what counts as payroll costs? So salary, wages, commissions, or tips, like I said, it's all capped at $100,000 per employee. Okay. Secondly is employee benefits that include the cost for vacation, parental, family, medical, or sick leave, allowance for separation or dismissal, payments required for provisions of group health care benefits, including insurance premiums, and payments of any retirement benefits. You can also do it for state and local tax that are assessed on compensation. And for sole proprietors and independent contractors, it's wages, commissions, income, or net earnings from self-employment capped at $100,000 on an annualized basis for each employee. So it's about $100K per. But those are all the requirements. How large can my loan be? Okay, so loans can be up to 2 months of your average monthly payroll costs from the last year, plus an additional 25% of that amount. And that's in form of a loan that gets termed out. The amount is subject to $10 million cap per company. So ultimately what you do is you take the payroll costs, you multiply that, you gather all the information, right? The salary, wages, the employee benefits, the retirement benefits, any premiums, all that good jazz. You put that all down, you add it up, and then you multiply by 2.5, and that's what you're going to end up submitting for the application. Okay. And it's up to $10 million. Seasonal or new businesses, you're going to use a different applicable time period for your calculation. The payroll cost will be capped at $100K for each employee. How much of my loan will be forgiven? Okay, so the answer there is everything will be forgiven if you use the funds appropriately. So the only way you'll end up having to owe any money is if you don't follow the rules. So the way that you would end up owing money would be if you use the loan amount for anything other than paying for payroll costs, mortgage, interest, rent, or utilities over those 8 weeks that you're getting the loan. So the government's giving you they're giving you funding for about 8 weeks to pay your employees, right? You will also owe money. Okay, so there's some rules, by the way. So it's not just about how you use the money. There's also rules on how you will not have to repay the loan if you keep everything constant. However, if you end up not maintaining your staff and payroll, meaning if you fire people or you lower your payroll to a certain percentage, you're going to end up not being forgiven on the loan. You have to keep that number of staff the same. If you reduce it or you decrease your full-time employee headcount, you're going to end up having to pay back all of the money that they're giving to you. The ultimate goal here is that they're trying to keep people's jobs during this pandemic. It's pretty cool what the government's doing, right? So they're helping everybody out. Your level of payroll. Your loan forgiveness will also be reduced if you decrease salaries and wages by more than 25% for any employee that made less than $100K annualized in 2019. In regards to rehiring, you can rehire up until June 30th of 2020 to restore your full-time employment and salary levels for any changes made between February 15th, 2020 and April 26th of 2020. So if you got nervous and you laid somebody off or you didn't think you can manage because you're in a restaurant and you closed your restaurant, the government's saying you can rehire these people and they're going to give you money for you to pay them for the next 8 weeks. And the hope is that within these 8 weeks that we'll be back, the economy back, and you'll be good to go. So you're going to want to apply for this, right? So how can I request loan forgiveness? So the way it works is you submit a request to the lender that is servicing the loan. They will verify the number of full-time employments equivalent to the pay rates, as well as the payments that are eligible, and the payments that are eligible for mortgage, lease, and utility obligations. You must certify that the documents are true, that you use the forgiveness amount to keep the employees and make eligible mortgage, interest, rent, and utility payments. The lender must make a decision on the forgiveness within the 60 days. The interest rate is 0.5% fixed rate. What else? So when do I need to start paying interest on my loan? All payments are deferred for 6 months. However, interest will continue to accrue over this time period. When is the loan due? The loan's due in 2 years. Can I pay my loan earlier than 2 years? The answer is yes. You can prepay, no prepayment penalties, no fees. Do I need to pledge any collateral for these loans? The answer is no. You do not have to have any collateral to get this loan from the SBA lender that the government is giving money to. Do I need to personally guarantee this loan? The answer is no, you do not. There's no personal guarantee requirement. However, if the proceeds are used for fraudulent purposes, the U.S. government will pursue criminal charges against you. They're not playing around here, guys. Yeah, this is legit. But if you try to take advantage of it or do something stupid, they're going to come after you. So, yeah, you just got to be honest. And it's all around payroll and who you're paying. If you're an owner of the business, you're still getting paid. So you count. What do I need to certify? As part of your application, you need to certify in good faith that the current economic uncertainty makes the loan necessary to support your ongoing operations, that the funds will be used to retain your workers and maintain payroll and or make mortgage payments, lease payments, and utility payments. All right. You won't receive another loan under this program. What else do you need to certify? That I'm reading my notes here. Documentation that verifies the number of full-time equivalent employees on payroll and the dollar amounts of payroll costs, covered mortgage and interest payments, covered rent payments, and covered utilities for the 8 weeks after getting the loan. The loan forgiveness will be provided for the sum of documented payroll costs, covered mortgage, covered payments, and covered utilities. No more than 25% of forgiven amount may be for non-payroll costs. All the information is true and accurate. And you're knowingly not making any false statements to get a loan under this program, or it will be punishable by law. All right. So at the end of the day, the lender is going to calculate the eligible amount using the tax documents that you're going to provide to them. You're going to give them their payroll costs that you have, and you're going to multiply it by 2.5 times, right? So when I filled out the form, it's called the Paycheck Protection Program borrower application form. So it asks you up top, what kind of business is it, right? Sole proprietor, partnership, C Corp, LLC, whatever. What's your business legal name? What's your address? What's your tax identification number? What's your business phone, contact, email address? Then what it does is it asks you, what's your average monthly payroll? So you have to put that number into the app, and then it shows where you multiply it by 2.5 times. And that shows what the equal loan request will be. Then you have to just put down what the total employees are. Then they ask you to check a box on what it's for. So it's payroll. Then you list your owners out, and then they ask you a bunch of questions. So the first 2 questions that they ask, they tell you up front, if you answer yes to this loan, you will not be approved. And the questions are about, let me see, is the applicant or any owner of the applicant presently suspended, debarred, proposed for debarment, declared ineligible, voluntarily excluded from participation in this transaction by any federal department of agency, or presently involved in any bankruptcy? So you got to answer no to that. And it's got to be true, of course. 2 is, has the applicant or any applicant or business owner controlled by them ever obtained a direct or guaranteed loan from the SBA or any other federal agency and defaulted in the last 7 years? So that also has to be no. If that answer is yes, then you cannot do this. You're automatically not approved. The third question, they ask if the owner of the business owns any other businesses, right? So I own other businesses, so that would be yes for me. And then it says you got to list the businesses and describe your relationship on a separate sheet identified in an addendum. So I got to do that. So if you guys have more than one business, you're going to have to do that. The fourth question says, has the applicant received an SBA economic injury disaster loan between January 21st, 2020 and April 20th? If the answer is yes, provide details. My answer is no, so I answer no. Then there's another 4 more questions, and they explain again on 5 and 6. If the answer is yes, you will not be approved. And number 5, the question is, anybody owning over 20% in equity, that's an applicant, have they been indicted, criminal information arraignment, or other means which formal criminal charges are brought in any jurisdiction or presently incarcerated or on probation or parole? If you answer yes to that, you ain't going to get approved. Then you got to initial your name. Or on number 6, it's within the last 5 years, for any felony, has the applicant or any owner pleaded guilty, pleaded nolo contender, been placed on pretrial diversion, been placed on any form or parole or probation. So if that answers yes, again, you're not going to get approved. So number 7, the U.S. principal place of residence for all the employees on the applicant included on the payroll calculation above. So everybody's got to be in the U.S. And is the applicant a franchise that is listed in the SBA's franchise directory? So those are straightforward questions. You answer those 8 questions, and then you have to initial down below. So there's some certifications and authorizations, and then below there's certifications, and you just got to initial. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things. So, the first one's the applicant was in operation on February 15, 2020, and had employees from whom it paid salaries and payroll taxes. They're just confirming all of this stuff is true. You got to put your initials down, yes. Your current economic uncertainty makes this loan request necessary. Funds will be used to retain workers and maintain payroll or make mortgage payments, utilities, all that good jazz. Specified under the payroll, the Paycheck Protection Program rule. So you got to initial that. The applicant will provide to the lender documentation verifying the number of full-time equivalent employees on the payroll and the dollar amounts. So you got to provide that information for them to calculate this for you and show proof. You understand the loan's forgiveness will be provided for the sum of the documented payroll costs, covered mortgage interest payments, covered payments of utilities and all that stuff, and not more than 25% of that forgiven amount may be for non-payroll costs. So you can't use this money for more than 25%, or the loan will not be forgiven. So you got to confirm that. During the period of February 15, 2020 and December 31st, the applicant has not received another loan. On number 7, you certify the information provided in this application, information provided in supporting documents is all true and accurate. And if it's not, you understand knowingly that making a false statement to obtain guaranteed loan from the SBA is punishable under the law. And you can go to jail for 5 years and get a fine up to $250,000. So just be honest. You do not want to lie, right? There is confusion out there, so I get that. So that's the part that you just got to keep asking questions, right? That's why I'm doing this right now. I'm hoping I'm explaining some of the stuff to you guys, right? And the way that I see it, and the way it's been explained to me. And, number 8 is I acknowledge the lender will confirm the eligible amount using my required documents, blah, 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 blah. Then you got to sign it, and then that you're done, right? So, that is it in a nutshell right now. So if you have a business, you definitely want to be using this this opportunity right now. You want to be able to use this for the ability to keep your employees. You want to use this so that you can you want to be able to use this for payroll, and it's a really awesome thing that the government's doing. So take advantage of it and do it as fast as possible, because there is a cap, and every business is going to do this that it's eligible. It's a no-brainer, right? They're helping everybody out, and it's a really good thing of what they're doing. So take the opportunity to go to an SBA lender. If you have an accountant, go talk to your accountant, ask them questions about it, or an attorney, find out information. It's pretty straightforward for the most part. Whatever payroll you have, you can submit. Any healthcare premiums, any 401k, retirement stuff like that. You can read through the details, but all of that stuff they will give you for 8 weeks. Well, it's 2.5 times actually. They're giving you 2.5 times what that is on a monthly basis for you. So if you have employees, they're capped at $100,000 per employee. So if you have 20 employees and 10 of them make $150,000, and 5 make $100,000, and another 5 make $50,000, well, then you have the $50,000 for the 5, and then you have to submit the other 15 for $100,000. Even though they make $150,000, they're capped at $100,000. So you would take that. What is that? 1.75 million in payroll, and then you would divide that by 12, and then you would then have a number, right? And I'm not including all the other stuff, but just you would include everything, and then you would have that whatever number that nets out, and then you'd multiply that by 2.5, and then that would then be the number that they're going to look at, confirm with documentation. If they do, the lender's going to give that money to you. And if you use it properly, if you use it for payroll, if you use it to keep your employees on, you don't lower their wages, you don't fire them, the loan will be forgiven. So it's pretty awesome. You guys should definitely take advantage of this and do it ASAP, because like I said, it will cap out. So even though it goes till June, once they hit a certain number, it's going to cap out. So get on it, do it. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Hope this was helpful for you. This is really a really good thing of what the government's doing during a time of crisis, that will keep people employed, will keep businesses afloat for the next 8 weeks, 2 months or so. So thank you to the government and everybody involved, Congress and the president and everybody else. That's pretty cool. So you guys, good luck with everything. Hope everybody's safe and healthy. Take advantage of this. Reach out to your accountants, like I said, or call your bank and ask them. I know Chase Bank is approved, so if you guys bank at Chase, then you call up Chase, or all you really have to do is go online, log on, and then in your online banking, if you look over to the right, there's a link that you click. It shows for COVID-19 relief, and you will then be taken to an application page, which earlier today, the page was down because there was so much traffic at one time, but it worked for me earlier. So either they fixed it or the traffic slowed. I'm not sure, but either way, hop on and start filling out that application, getting your documents in order. So but that's it. So hope this was helpful for you guys, and good luck with you all. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.